Hey guys, what's going on? It is Ash here coming at you today telling you why I love guards. Man, I've added guards to my Royal Giant deck since they got buffed in the last balance update, and I am absolutely loving them. And as always, I actually found them by playing against somebody else who smoked me with them, albeit they were a level 12 or 13. So here is the guy, level 7 guards, must be nice, who I went up against. And you can see he was a level 12, but a high level level 12. And since I've been playing the deck, I've only, you can see, only drew once, and I think I only had one loss since then. So we'll go through these replays. I'll play a few for you guys today against different types of decks, different types of meta, and you'll see how the cards can be really, really effective now. I mean, they still only cost 3 elixir, which is cheap, and you have a lot of great options at 2 and 3 elixir in this game. So you have to consider where are they going to be valuable in my deck, and I really found a nice place for them in this Royal Giant deck, and they're really, they can be very valuable on defense, obviously, and you can use them right after you play the Royal Giant, and they're much better than, for example, Goblins or anything like that, because what they can do is they can take down that P.E.K.K.A. and still remain standing, the mini P.E.K.K.A. that is. And against these power decks that are becoming more and more popular, especially now that Dark Prince is also getting a buff, I think these guards will actually have a valuable place in the game. So against this match here, you can see I'm playing a PvP deck. We have the P.E.K.K.A., Prince, and Dark Prince. And the idea here is these guards, these 3 elixir guards, are absolutely the bane of a deck like this. So if you're going against a lot of these decks, or if you see that a lot of people start playing these more often, consider adding guards to your deck, even if they're under leveled. Now, I just got my guards to level 5, which is awesome because that puts them right around the low range. All my epics at my trophy level are either level 5 or level 6. But look at these guards here. Against a P.E.K.K.A. and a Dark Prince, they're able to basically, with 3 elixir, I was almost able to kill them, and I would have had he not used that very well-timed freeze spell there. So he used the freeze spell, and he actually got a lot of damage done to my left tower, but he didn't take down the tower because his guards did a great job. Now, the guards, obviously, you guys already know their mechanic, but they can absorb a blow no matter how strong that blow is and lose no life. All they lose is their shield, and now with the most recent buff to guards, they don't suffer from any of the knockback effects by Fireball or any of those direct damage spells, so they don't even move. These guys are little tanks. And look at that arrow, for example. Arrows, obviously. Zap spell, obviously. Arrows and Zap, I'm telling you guys right now, are going to be really, really popular after this next balance update goes live on the 4th of July. And I'll tell you what, guards are going to be a great answer to those decks because, you know, when the player's so used to zapping and using an arrow and everything with low hit points in the entire game, whether it be skeletons, goblins, spear goblins, anything, skeleton army now, they're going to be in for a surprise when they go up against these, even minions, I should say, and fire spirits, I should say. You can zap and arrow everything except for guards. And look at this, 2 P.E.K.K.A.s, well, not a big deal because I have Ice Wizard and I have guards. I'm going to go ahead and play my guards right to the left of that P.E.K.K.A. there, and look at this, the guards single-handedly, with the help of the princess, of course, and the tower, are going to take down that P.E.K.K.A., and he can't do anything to me. He did get that nice free spell early on, but after that, he barely even touched my towers. Let's go ahead and hop into another replay here. Now, guards, why weren't they so popular before, and now all of a sudden I love them? Well, there's 3 reasons. Number 1, low levels. We were all trying to level these guys up, so we couldn't get the full effect of how powerful they really were until they were actually at a tournament level standard, right? Number 2, most importantly, is that now the meta is changing in the way that everybody, like I just mentioned, is carrying Zapper arrows, and the guards have vulnerability or invincibility against those spells. It just knocks off their shield, and they're not dead at all. And number 3 is because of that pushback effect. You can play a Fireball against guards, and nothing's going to happen at all. They're going to lose their shield, they're still going to be fine, they're going to be full life, they're going to continue hitting whatever target they were hitting. They have no pushback, bounce back, whatever you want to call it, effect at all. So you can see here, guards against a mini P.E.K.K.A., guards against a skeleton, not a big deal at all. Well, I guess besides the fact that he has a free spell again. It's funny, both of these replays I was hit with this devastating free free spell very early on. But once you know the free spell is coming after they use the first one, then you can be ready for it. Not a lot of minor decks are carrying the freeze spell, so I had no idea that he'd be playing that freeze there. But now I'm ready for it. So at this point, I'm just trying to cycle back to my Royal Giant, trying to be aggressive with the Royal Giant. You have to be aggressive when you're playing a Royal Giant deck. You have to keep getting him in there doing that damage. The opponent's going to play... Oh, don't want to return to main menu. He played a mini P.E.K.K.A. right here. So a little tip for you guys. If there's a mini P.E.K.K.A. coming down your lane and you have Fire Spirits, just put the Fire Spirits in the middle of the map there, and it's a nice 2 elixir trade there, and you're always going to kill the mini P.E.K.K.A. He's never going to get to your tower, even if your Fire Spirits are lower level than he is. Obviously, it wouldn't be exactly lower level, but you know what I'm saying. If your Fire Spirits, for example, are level 11 and the mini P.E.K.K.A. is level 9, it's still going to kill that mini P.E.K.K.A. before he gets to your tower. So here again, as I was saying, you have to stay aggressive with the Royal Giant. You have to keep using him. You can't just play defense the entire match. I see that's a mistake that a lot of people who are very brand new to using Royal Giant or who aren't too confident in using Royal Giant, they end up doing that. They end up just playing a lot of defense and not getting that Royal Giant down there enough. So even if you don't get 500 to 1,000 to 2,000 hit points off that tower, don't be scared to keep chipping away at it with that Royal Giant. Of course, you want to make sure you have the elixir advantage. Use all the fundamentals that we talked about for months now, right? So make sure you don't leave yourself high and dry. You don't want to commit too hard to a push. But if you're full on elixir and you have the Royal Giant in your hand, you might as well use him. Like now, for example, I forced my opponent to use a free spell on my Royal Giant. There's only 20 seconds left in the match, but I know if I get one hit off on that tower, I can fireball it down, and that's exactly what I do here. So I do get one hit on that tower. I have the fireball up, so I'm going to go ahead and use it right now. Now we're tied, and I really like this deck when we're at a tie like this, because I really am very confident on its ability to play good solid defense, and at the same time just continuing again to chip away at that remaining tower with my Royal Giant. So again here, what I like to do is, with the Royal Giant, I'll put the Royal Giant in the middle, and then all the rest of my units besides, well, let me break it down here. So the Royal Giant's in the middle, and then all my low hit point units that are going to help with the push, they're going to go in the left lane. And then what I want to do is whatever my opponent's going to counter my Royal Giant with, so it's usually either Barbarians or a mini P.E.K.K.A., I'll play that a little bit to the right of the Royal Giant. So okay, maybe I'll do it right here. So I have a lot of low hit point units going in on that tower. I have the Royal Giant. Okay, well, bad example, right? But the idea here is, once you get your opponent down to one tower, you have your Royal Giant in the center. You have your low hit point, high DPS units like Fire Spirits or even Ice Wizard if you want to, or Goblin Skeletons, whatever you're playing with your Royal Giant. You have that in your left lane, not next to the Royal Giant, and then whatever your opponent's going to counter your Royal Giant with, that's what you want to play a little bit to the right of the Royal Giant, safe from obviously the other lane because there's no tower there anymore. So in my case, I like to often play Fire Spirits because more often than not, it seems like the opponents counter the Royal Giant with Barbarians. Fire Spirits are a great counter to that. Now this is important. When you play your very first Royal Giant of the match, you want to just delay a little bit after you place anything behind it. You don't want to place a Royal Giant and then immediately start dropping minions or whatever you want to play with it. Well, on the very first play, you want to see what your opponent's going to counter it with, because more often than not, that's going to be their favorite way to counter your Royal Giant for the rest of the match. So in this case, he countered with a minion horde, so I know to be ready from now on for that minion horde. I make a really bad miss on those arrows there. I was about, 15 seconds late there, Ash? Way to go. So you can see I delayed on that minion horde early on in this match, and then I countered it very easily with my Fire Spirit. So now I'm going to be ready for that minion horde, and luckily for me, this deck has a lot of answers to minion horde and Barbarians. I have Fire Spirits, I have Princess, I have Fireball if I need it, I have arrows. So I have a lot of answers, and here, this is interesting here, I have a mini horde coming at me on the right, and I have a minor hog on the left. So I use my Fireball against that minion horde. I don't feel especially great about that, but here's one thing that you have to realize with Fireball. If you're going to play the Fireball, you're going to want to use it, okay? I notice a lot of people add Fireballs to their decks, and then they never use it. So in a bind, use your Fireball. It's not the end of the world if you use it on a so-so elixir trade. Okay, guys, now pay close attention here. I have my Royal Giant, and I immediately drop the guards right after the Royal Giant. But I just told you guys, always wait to see what your opponent plays before you play a counter after your Royal Giant. But that was only for the first move of the match. Now I know what my opponent has in his deck, and I know he's either going to play the Minion Horde or the P.E.K.K.A., the Mini P.E.K.K.A. to counter my Royal Giant. Now, he had just played the minion horde about 15 to 20 seconds earlier, so I knew he did not have it up again. That's why I played the guards immediately, because I knew the only answer he had at that point to my Royal Giant was the Mini P.E.K.K.A, and the guards are a great answer against Mini P.E.K.K.A, and I was able to take down his right tower. That is one of the reasons I love guards. Guards, you can play it right behind the Royal Giant, and boom, they're gonna immediately take out that Mini P.E.K.K.A and keep that Royal Giant alive. And again, here you can see I have my low hit point, high DPS units. My guards went to that tower on the left. I got it down to almost 100 hit points, 200, 100, and it was beautiful. It was just perfectly planned there. Now I know I have him this match. There's only 12 seconds left. I had the fireball up. I don't know why I just don't play it aggressively here. I guess I'm just waiting to play some defense until it's 5 seconds left on the clock. Instead, I play my Royal Giant, and then I'm just going to eventually, I'm going to wait till there's 1 second or 0 seconds left in sudden death, and I'm going to go ahead and fireball for the win. So guys, hopefully now you understand why I'm starting to really love the guard card. I consider it a very underused and underrated card, and I'm excited to see where this card goes after the balance update. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and as always, take care, guys.